Drink told me the plan and I say I'm with it. We jumped in the car and went straight to the riches. Yeah, we went straight to the riches. He told me this one gon' bust both of our wrists. I told him he playing, he says no gimmicks. I told him let's get it, I told him let's get it like.
Yo fam, South Africa, let's have some fun, gang. I just found this channel randomly, like this shit just popped up on the Explorer page, feel me? So, I'm about to have fun, feel me? I'm gonna react to all 17 of these videos though, feel me, day by day. So just make sure you check my channel, gangy. But I'm gonna do the hit that took out, aka part 2. Part 1, I feel like I've seen everything in this one so far. So I'm gonna just do part 2, feel me? But after that, I'm gonna do one of these videos though, after that though, gang. So just make sure you check my videos, check the old videos out. Drop some new videos in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me get to 25K. Yeah, you know the vibes, man. Let's get it.
KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has denied reports that 2 men who've been arrested in Eswatini are being linked to the murder of rapper Keenan, aka Forbes, and his friend Tebelo Tibbs Mutswane. Forbes and Mutswane were gunned down outside a restaurant in a popular Durban nightlife area on Florida Road last year.
On the 23rd of February 2024, news broke out from Swaziland on the arrest of 2 individuals believed to be linked to the murder of Kiernan Forbes and his associate Tibbs. At the time, the South African police denied these claims from the Swazi police, but they later confirmed the news to be true. This is the story of the hit that took out one of the most famous personalities in South African showbiz. This is the story of AKA and Tibbs, AKA's murder.
Like, that shit always fucks with my head though. You can't tell me whoever, what is this, Don Design, whatever his name is, man. I don't really like accusing people of shit though, but for me, you can't tell me he don't see him. Like, I feel like he's looking at him type shit.
He's in South.
And then this one too, like this guy right here, it's like, this whole situation is just weird to me,
South African showbiz. This is the story of AKA and Tibbs. AKA's murder shocked the nation of South Africa on February 10, 2023. No one expected the man to die in such fashion in a city he was celebrated. From the very onset, the hit looked well planned and to have been coordinated by professional killers. For a while, the hunt for the men who ended the superstar's life looked lost, but the South African police had curated a genius plan behind the spotlight. When the killers pulled the trigger on February 10, 2023, the camera caught a glimpse of the men escaping into the night, and for a while it seemed as though they would get away with it. But they made several mistakes on that day that led to their capture. Mistake which the South African police capitalized on. As soon as AKA landed at the airport in Durban, he had a tail on him unbeknown to anyone in his entourage.
The spotter initially followed Mr. Forbes from the airport on arrival, all the way to the hotel, as well as to the restaurant where the incident happened. And this person was also responsible for gathering resources together, the whole team together, as well as the rewards that came thereafter when the people have done their job, the payments that was done.
His security person.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I had a question though. How does he know AKA was about to land though? That's my only question.
Personnel reported that his normal routines were mysteriously changed on the day, as they did not follow the usual protocols when traveling with the superstar.
50% of our work is the manner in which you move. It's your planning, it's how you pre-plan, and how you schedule your timing and your placing of yourself as a person. In my absence, protocol was breached. Keenan was called and invited to go to Florida Road Wish, which he accepted and he went. Had I been there, that protocol would have not been breached, because that call would have came through the road manager.
When the artist was picked up at King Shaka International Airport, a gray BMW followed the entourage to the Hilton Hotel in Durban. Harvey Gwabini is alleged to have been inside this vehicle according to cell phone records. This character will turn out to be of great importance later in the story. Once they arrived at the hotel, the BMW left the scene, possibly after confirming the location where AKA was staying. Later that day, a gray VW Polo was seen around the hotel, and this vehicle is believed to have been a spotter vehicle to monitor AKA's movements. This car is alleged to have been hired for this particular job by the same man who was inside the BMW earlier. 2 men, Sayabonga and Lindokush, were identified around the Hilton Hotel through cell phone records right as AKA settled in the residence. At around 5 p.m., AKA and his entourage were transported from the hotel to Wish restaurant. When he arrived at the restaurant, he was met by the owner who invited him for a haircut at his saloon inside the restaurant.
He called me earlier in the day and said, Benny, I know you've got a new spot. Let's go check it out. So I want to go cut my hair at your place. I keep hearing about the food, about the fish at your place. I want to come eat at your place.
Forbes joined the owner for a meal in the restaurant after the haircut. He was then joined by his former manager, Tips. At this time, a spotter was already positioned inside the restaurant watching AKA and his entourage.
We have two spotters that were one of the spotters was inside the restaurant observing and watching Mr. Forbes and his friends.
That's when the killers made their first crucial mistake. To disguise his actions, the spotter decided to buy a meal inside the restaurant. He then used a standard bank credit card to pay for the meal. This helped to identify him as Lindo. The VW Polo used for spotting was also identified around the Wish restaurant. Video footage spotted Lindo exiting the VW Polo and entering the restaurant. Another car was also spotted by cameras at the Hilton Hotel and later at the restaurant. This was the Mercedes-Benz C200, which would later play a prominent role during the assassin's escape after the murder. The Mercedes-Benz arrived near the restaurant and was positioned about 100 meters from the entrance. At around 10 p.m., AKA and his entourage decided to leave the restaurant, and before he jumped inside the car which was to transport him, he decided to embrace his former manager and friend Tips. At that moment, a suspect is seen crossing the road before he approached the two from behind and fired at point blank. This suspect was later identified as Sayabanga. The second suspect, who is alleged to be Lindo, positioned himself near the cars and fired shots in the direction of the two victims. AKA immediately fell to the ground and Tibbs ran a few meters before collapsing to the ground. Both suspects were then seen crossing the Florida Road towards the direction of the white Mercedes-Benz before fleeing the scene. The men drove the car off the scene before abandoning it near Cato Crest and Formal Settlement.
See, and then that's how he got caught, that fucking bucket hat, bruh. That fucking bucket hat, man.
Then seen crossing the Florida Road towards the direction of the white Mercedes-Benz before fleeing the scene. The men drove the car off the scene.
You see, that's how if you watch my videos before, that's how I spotted him. Because of that bucket hat. You feel me? That bucket hat was the same bucket hat inside the club. This shit was crazy, huh?
Before abandoning it near Cato Crest and Formal Settlement. The suspected then tried to set the car on fire.
The first vehicle, which is a Mercedes-Benz, was recovered on the 6th of March last year.
They then made their second crucial mistake after abandoning the vehicle. One of the suspects decided to buy airtime from a tuck shop near the area where they had abandoned the vehicle. This helped the police to identify the person as Unkobo. Cellular phone records obtained from the man's phone showed how he had communicated with the other suspects on the night of the murder. The suspect's place of residence during the time of the murder was also identified, as they were residing in Capella Flats in Malusi. The killing of a public figure in such fashion angered the public as they demanded swift justice. This meant that the South African police were now under pressure to deliver. The men in the force had a master plan led by the top detective Vela. This was overseen by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner and the Minister of Police in the country. The strategy was to identify and locate the suspects before arresting them on other charges not related to the AKA case. This was a genius plan, as it meant that the other persons targeted in the case could not be triggered and disappear before the police could catch up.
The strategy that we employed was that after identifying these 6, we're going to look for parallel cases that they are involved in. And we're going to arrest them on those cases and keep them in custody. But don't charge them on the case that we're investigating, the main case 85. Of February last year, which happened in Florida.
But then I have a question though. I got so many questions, right? Out of all 6 of those people, feel me, what are their connection with AKA? You feel me? Like, I gotta talk to y'all real quick. What is the connection with AKA? Because like, if none of them know AKA, then yeah, it's cool that we caught them. Yeah, feel me? But who is the person that sent them? Like, who the one that got the money? Feel me? I seen one of the comments. It was like his ex-girlfriend. Feel me? The situation when she allegedly AKA pushed her off the balcony, or she went off the balcony off the drugs or whatever. Somebody said it might have been her father. Feel me? I'm like 65% on that one too, because I believe it was this press conference right here where he said somebody with money, someone who was powerful had to control all of them. So I'm 65% with that comment saying that I believe her name was like Aleje. I'm not, never mind. But AKA's ex-girlfriend, feel me? Her pops, feel me? I'm 65% with that one, feel me? But if those 6 people don't know AKA, then we need to find the real person, if y'all understand what I'm saying. So, feel me? That's my thing, though. Does any of those people know AKA? That's the only thing. Let's get it.
So the reason for that is because we wanted to make sure that we get almost all the suspects, especially the organizer of the hit. So after identifying everyone else, and we could realize that of the 6 suspects, at least 4 of them, we have parallel cases that we can link them with. So we started pursuing those parallel cases.
The first arrest was made in April 2023, 2 months after the murder. The man was arrested in Cape Town at Erica Square in Belhar along with 3 other men. The man was linked to a string of taxi killings in KwaZulu-Natal, and the police initially charged him on these cases. This suspect was said to be the organizer of vehicles and firearms used in the hit. On October 24, 2023, the second arrest was made. This suspect was one of the alleged spotters. The man was linked to another unrelated murder in the Berea area. This was the charge he was initially charged on. On December 14th,
How you go from March? Hold up. Then, sir, boy, right here, April, May, June, July, August, let me see, September. Yeah, bro, right here. He said, I ain't going down for all this shit. He probably started talking. Bro, right here, whoever got caught probably started talking.
Used in the hit. On October 24, 2023, the second arrest was made. This suspect was one of the alleged spotters. The man was linked to another unrelated murder in the Berea area. This was the charge he was initially charged on. On December 14, 2023, the third suspect was caught. This was one of the alleged shooters on that fateful day in Durban. He was also arrested on an unrelated murder case. Then came the arrest which blew the news to the public. The arrest of the 2 brothers in Swaziland on February 24, 2024. These were the alleged second shooter and the second spotter. They had been living in a rented house in Swaziland for months. The SAPS collaborated with the Swazi police and Interpol to arrest the men before their extradition to South Africa. These arrests almost compromised the case as the information got leaked to the Swaziland media. This triggered one of the suspects who was being investigated by the South African police in KwaZulu-Natal. The man went on the run after getting wind of the arrest in Swaziland.
On Monday, we had on our possession a warrant of arrest of the last 2. Unfortunately, the news broke out. So when the news broke out, the very last suspect we're looking for went on a run. Because the news were out, and they realized that the people that they thought were hiding that side, they're now running away, that they've been arrested. So they ought to run. So the team worked 24/7, 24 hours looking for them. That was from Monday until early hours of this morning, when the lawyers came to us and they said, okay, they're going to hand themselves over because we were hunting them and we had warrant of arrest.
This man was said to be the coordinator of the whole operation, the one who had followed AKA inside the BMW from the airport. He was the one who had allegedly paid for the whole process. The SAPS knew they had to act fast to catch the said mastermind. The man later contacted the police through his lawyers and handed himself over to the South African police. The 6 men were now in police custody, and later a 7th suspect was arrested. The whole picture was now laid bare with every role played by each suspect on the day now clear. But this was far from over. The financial aspect of the hit and the motive did not add up to what was presented. It is rumored that the coordinator received 800,000 rand, which was to be shared among the suspects. Each of the suspects was paid around 130,000 rand. The question was then, what was the motive for someone to pay almost R1 million for the death of AKA? This led to the public to believe a bigger mastermind to be still at large.
How much is R1 million? Each person in US dollars, each person got $53,000. I'm rounded off $54,000. Let's get it.
And we are all interested really to know, because it's very clear. It was not just somebody that woke up in the morning and got angry. You can see the build up and all that, coordinating the money. Yeah, they got money. All of them were paid.
The story of the hit that took out one of the biggest personalities in South Africa continues with new revelations each day. The suspected men are scheduled for court appearances as the case begins. How it ends, nobody truly knows.
I feel I wanted to experience that. It's part of my closure, is to be here, to get closer to the truth, to find out who did it. And that's a starting point. So I feel, I can't say I feel good, but I feel that, it started putting the faces to what's happened to Kenan and to Teeps.
Yeah, okay, so my only thing is I'm gonna say it's somebody in his camp that didn't like him because they had to connect with the guy in the BMW that was following him at the airport, and then also, or was it a Benz? Whatever car it was. That was following him at the hotel and then to the airport, right? They had to know something, what time he was landing. They had to know something. You get me? You get what I'm saying? Then, it's something about that ex-girlfriend father, though, because the whole situation sounds plotted out, right? So, they didn't ask the road manager, to book this, to come through the barbershop and, go through regular protocols like the security guard said. So they went right through AKA. So that was like the first mistake, because once AKA gave them a okay, not saying the guy that was at the barbershop did anything, but he might have said something, yo, we got AKA coming in at this day, maybe around the wrong people, feel me? And they probably spread the news to someone, and then that's how. But what I'm trying to say is, like, this was well plotted, and the way that he got killed, I don't think that's how it was supposed to go to end. It wasn't supposed to go like that, but they had to get him when they could get him. You feel me? But I think it was like planned out how they was going, how they was going to do things. So I think it's somebody else, though. I think it's one more person. It's a bigger mastermind than the one that they caught. I'm going to say that. But let me know how y'all feel, though, in the comments. Feel me? I'm definitely reading the comments. I'm tapping into more videos. I'm trying to find more channels with more information and more things that be going on out there. But, feel me? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and help me get to 25K, then 50K, then 100K. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Follow me on the gram. It's @SolarDreamTV_. You already know the vibes. You give life a new meaning when you dream, and it's your boy Dream, and I'm out of here, gangy.
Fake niggas, we don't do those. Fake niggas, we don't do those. Heart cold, weirdos,